It's not every day you see a smiling truck set on fire, but if you take a ride on Cars Road Trip at Disneyland Paris, bizarrely, that's exactly what you'll see. Since its opening in 2002, the Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris has been labelled the worst Disney theme park in the world. Over the years, the park has improved with the addition of attractions in areas like Avengers Campus, Crush's Coaster, Toy Story Land, and Ratatouille. However, despite these additions, most Disney fans still consider it the company's weakest park. Consequently, it's currently undergoing a massive multi-year expansion project. Alongside the opening of the World of Frozen in 2026, the park's name will be changed to Disney's Adventure World. A few years later, the long-term project will conclude with the opening of a Lion King-themed land. Disney hopes that this new-look park will finally shake off its title as the world's worst Disney park. However, amongst the recent changes to the park, there has come one of the strangest and arguably worst Disney rides ever built, Cars Road Trip, which currently sits tucked away at the back of the park behind Toy Story Land. To trace the history of this odd attraction, we must start by looking at one of Studio's original flagship rides. When the Walt Disney Studios Park opened in 2002, it had very few attractions. These included Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, Armageddon Les Effects Spéciaux, Flying Carpets over Agrabah, Light Motors Action Extreme Stunt Show, and the Studio Tram Tour Behind the Magic. The Studio Tram Tour was positioned as a major experience, modelled after the Hollywood studio backlot tours. Guests boarded long trams and were taken through various behind-the-scenes areas, showcasing prop boneyards, film sets, and special effects demonstrations. Highlights included the Dinotopia Waterfall City set, a charred post-apocalyptic London from Reign of Fire, and a graveyard of recognisable vehicles from various Disney productions. The most memorable scene was undoubtedly Catastrophe Canyon, a large-scale special effects sequence simulating an earthquake and flash flood on an oil rig. With fire shaking ground and thousands of gallons of water, it delivered a rare moment of spectacle in an otherwise underwhelming park. Despite this, the tram tour quickly began to show its age. Many props weren't tied to beloved or recognisable Disney IP, and within just a few years, the ride felt dated. Budget cuts over time led to shrinking content, faded sets, and long stretches of empty track. By the late 2010s, the ride felt like a shadow of what it once aspired to be. In 2018, Disney announced a €2 billion expansion to overhaul the Walt Disney Studios Park. The Studio Tram Tour was marked for closure to make way for entirely new lands. It seemed inevitable that the ride would be completely demolished. Its vast footprint was ideal real estate for the upcoming World of Frozen and other future developments. Many fans therefore assumed that it would quietly fade into Disney history. But then came an unexpected twist. As the COVID-19 pandemic forced resort closures and froze construction timelines, Disney were left scrambling for ways to recover lost attendance and revenue. Fully scrapping the tram tour and building a brand new attraction from scratch was no longer financially viable in the short term. Instead, Disney chose a more economical route. Repurpose part of the tram ride into something new, with a fresh coat of Pixar paint. Thus, Cars Road Trip was born. Opening in 2021, Cars Road Trip reuses a small segment of the old tram tour route. Most of the tram tour, including the Dinotopia and Reign of Fire scenes, was abandoned or bulldozed. The new experience now lasts around 8 minutes, compared to the 20+ minutes of the original, and it includes minimal theming, long stretches of empty landscaping, and very few moving parts. The centerpiece, Catastrophe Canyon, remains, but it's now redressed with a car-style truck awkwardly inserted into the scene. It's an odd and frankly unsettling choice to see a smiling Pixar character engulfed in flames as a part of a catastrophic oil rig explosion. The cheerful expression frozen on the truck's face as fire erupts around him creates a jarring tonal clash, leaving some guests unsure whether to laugh, cringe, or be concerned. The rest of the ride consists of static, lightly themed displays such as oversized roadside attractions and Cars sculptures, alongside a few familiar characters from the films. But these are certainly not the spectacular animatronics that you will find in Radiator Springs Racers at Disney's California Adventure. Instead, they are static and lifeless. There's no real story, no character engagement, and no climax. Guests are simply driven in mostly silence, occasionally interrupted by a few characters discussing what's on screen, past quirky car-themed set pieces. For fans of the Cars franchise, it's a baffling adaptation, and for everyone else, it's simply confusing. Unlike other Pixar attractions, such as Ratatouille, Crush's Coaster, or Toy Story Midway Mania, Cars Road Trip doesn't immerse guests in a world or narrative. It truly feels like a cheap overlay and not a Disney-level experience. Comparing Cars Road Trip to the previous Studio Tram Tour highlights a clear divide. While the Studio Tram Tour was flawed, it did have ambition. It aimed to capture the magic of movie making with scale and practical effects, even if the choice of movies was baffling. Cars Road Trip, by contrast, feels like a placeholder, a half-hearted attempt to stay open and sell a new ride to visitors during a difficult time. What makes it even more unusual is how out of step it feels with the park's current direction. Surrounding it are immersive, modern experiences like Avengers Assemble Flight Force, Spider-Man Web Adventure, and soon the world of Frozen. These areas are built with detail, storytelling, and scale. Cars Road Trip truly feels like it belongs to another era, one where budgets were tight and expectations lower. Contrast it with another Cars-themed ride like Radiator Springs Racers and California Adventure, which combines stunning rock work, animatronics, and a thrilling racing finale to create one of Disney's best modern attractions, and it makes the whole thing even more baffling. Radiator Springs Racers does not just reference cars, it fully immerses guests in the world of Radiator Springs. Cars Road Trip does none of this. There's no sense of place, no build-up or payoff, and no magic. It simply feels empty. In many ways, Cars Road Trip is a perfect embodiment of the Bob Chapek era at Disney, a time defined by cost-cutting, rapid-fire IP integration, and prioritizing shareholder returns over creative excellence. Rather than invest in a meaningful new experience, the ride was greenlit as a quick fix. Low cost, instantly marketable, and built on recycled infrastructure. It's a textbook example of Chapek's content over quality mindset, where the presence of a known franchise was deemed more important than storytelling, immersion, or guest satisfaction. Instead of building trust during a difficult time, the ride felt like a disappointment, further fueling the growing discontent many had with Disney leadership during this period. In hindsight, Cars Road Trip was not just a weak attraction, it became a symbol of an era that many fans would rather forget. As Disney prepares to relaunch the park as Disney's Adventure World, Cars Road Trip risks becoming a strange relic of a transitional era. It's unlikely to have a long shelf life in a park aiming for narrative depth and fully themed environments. Whether it's quietly removed, rethemed again, or absorbed into a future expansion remains to be seen. But for now, Cars Road Trip stands as a symbol of compromise, born out of necessity but lacking the magic and innovation that defines the Disney name. Its presence may soon fade, but for now it exists, at least in our opinion, as the worst Disney ride in the world. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Cars Road Trip in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and check out some of my other videos as well as the links in the description.